Hello and welcome to Support on the Stand. And today we're discussing a bit more of an out there topic for the channel, as we are discussing today the A-League. And whether or not I personally think relegation and promotion should be the next step forward as A-League clubs now become independent from the league. Now, of course, a bit of background, because for my UK viewers, what's happened recently is that the A-League, all the clubs have now become independent of the league starting next season. Meaning that it would be quite similar to the situation in the EPL or the SPFL, where clubs play in the league, however they do not have any control from the league on how they run their club. They have their own personal freedoms to go and pursue things like sponsorships, salaries, paying how much they pay for players, the lot. So things like that. It's a lot more independent, a lot more money-making opportunities, but in the same vein, during times of COVID, there's not that financial safety net that the league provides. So now that clubs have become independent, there's now been some rumours that there's a bit of a demand for promotion and relegation to be introduced. Now, with the A-League, I didn't think it was ever going to happen, simply because the A-League is too much like the MLS, where promotion and relegation are seen more as a financial risk than a financial benefit. And that's just the way all Australian sports go. I mean, yes, people over here know what promotion and relegation are, but at the end of the day, there's no real demand to see it. But now the A-League clubs are independent, they can go their own way. There is a bit more of a chance it can happen. And I'm here to discuss whether or not I think that is best for the league. And my short answer is yes, I do think it is. Because at the end of the day, you can't just have the same team finishing bottom. Because I know that might get the whole finger pointing, the laughing, the wooden spoon and all that. But really, there's no consequence. You could finish last for 5 years running and you're still going to be in the elite competition. And I know a lot of people would maybe argue the point that there's no Australian clubs outside the A-League who have that presence, who have the prestige. I can see where they're coming from. But just look, for example, Wollongong Wolves, who play in Lynn Stadium, which is about a 23,000 seater. That's bigger than a lot of A-League stadiums, and plus there is a very big demand for football in Wollongong and the Illawarra region. And also you can have other cities come in. I mean, I know Gold Coast United are trying to get back into the A-League, try and purchase their back in. And I know that's not going to happen after the last fiasco, but there are clubs in Queensland who have the quality to get in. You know, I feel like that is holding back clubs. Because if you can give clubs a chance to actually fight for something, then that, in my opinion, gives them inspiration to improve. Look at clubs in the NPL at the moment. Sure, you're in NPL 1, you're seen as the top in state football. But then what? There's nothing to aspire to. A mid-table team in the NPL has no reason to aspire to a trophy. Because one, it doesn't get them anything better in getting promoted to the A-League, and two, it doesn't get them any Asian Champions League football. So unless you're in an NPL 2, NPL 3, there's no real point to try. Because if you're at the NPL 1, that is the best you can do. It's basically the equivalent of the EPL shutting off relegation and teams in the Championship and expected to go hell forever for an award that's not really there. And that's nothing. I think the Australian footballing structure holds the country back. The A-League is only 12 teams. And those 12 teams are the only teams that can really give people a living. Because here in Australia, it is seen across the sports, the salary cap. Now, in a way, the salary cap is not a bad thing, but it's an outdated system. Because, for example, you look at football, you look at cricket, our young Australian athletes can get a better living all across the globe. And that's holding back Australia, because you're not getting homegrown talent in these leagues and wanting to play there for the long term. And that's what independence brings. It brings opportunity to get rid of the salary cap. Now, I do not think there should be no form of financial fair play. There definitely should be. Again, it shouldn't be like it is in UEFA, where if you are caught breaking the rules, all you get is a simple slap on the wrist and that's the end of it. I do think there should be a bit of cap there. Let's say, for example, you can only spend 50% of what your club draws in once they become independent, or they can only spend 75% once they become independent of what they earn. I think that would be the way to do it. Like the FFP were supposed to be there for, never acted upon it, but there were 4 in the foundation. But overall, I do think promotion relegation are a good thing. It brings more freedom to the game here in Australia. It offers more chance of improvement. It will bring in more money. Because the fact is, the way Australia does it now, the A-League's unique. You usually have 33 games. This season it's shortened during COVID. Then you have the finals, then you have the A-League Grand Final for the Golden Torch seat. And yes, that is very unique and is unlike what is going on in Europe. But that is the one thing Europeans have never liked about the MLS, is the fact that there's no sense of danger. There's no relegation dogfight. There's no chance to really open up the football improvement and really make it that teams can strive for excellence in the country. And I know the FFA Cup is a thing, but it's not taken seriously from what I've seen. I think it's a good opportunity. You can make it that gets you a Champions League place if you win it. That's why people take it more. That way you can take it more seriously, and there is nothing more. And it's just not what it is now, which is nothing more than a piece of glorified silverware. As at the moment, I think the Australian game is holding itself back, and it's self-inflicted, as I said earlier. So yes, bring in the promotion, bring the relegation, open the game up, give people more opportunities, and that way, one, you can expand the league without having to create new clubs. And while I am supporting MacArthur FC this year in the A-League, that you don't really need to create new footballing teams. You don't need to create new brands when there's many teams in the NPL who do have a following that, if brought to the A-League, could do some damage. So definitely, I'd say go that direction. But that's all I want to say for this video. I know it's a bit of a weird one. Listen, if you want to hear my thoughts on more topics of the A-League, comment below. If not, comment another topic you might want me to talk about. I've spoken about the MLS and how I think that not having relegation or promotion there is killing the league. So if I'm going to talk about that, I'll talk about it. But also stay tuned, as I am actually having part 1 of my UEFA Champions League round of 16 predictions. That should be coming out later on today. Thank you for watching, and cheers.